are welcome to this channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. In the news, Nenadi Usman slams presidency over Shettima, says VP must not be intimidated into retracting the truth. The chairman of the National Caretaker Committee of the Labour Party (LP), Senator Nenadi Usman, has urged the presidency not to intimidate Vice President Kashim Shettima into denying or retracting the truth of what he said during a book launch in Abuja last week. Shettima had, at the launching of the book, narrated how the former Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and Minister of Justice Mohammed Bello Adoke and former Speaker of the House of Representatives Senator Aminu Tambuwa told former President Goodluck Jonathan that he had no power to remove a governor from office or even a councillor. In a statement by her senior special advisor, Media, Ken Eluma Asogwa, Usman, at the public presentation of the book OPL 245, The Inside Story of the $1.3 billion Oil Block, authored by former Attorney General Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN, in Abuja. On Thursday, Vice President Kashim Shettima made a remark that was as honest as it was instructive. He recounted how in 2013, during the declaration of a state of emergency in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states, both the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, and the AGF, Adoke, stood firm in advising President Goodluck Jonathan that he lacked the constitutional powers to remove any elected officeholder, including the sitting governor. According to Usman, Vice President Shettima's acknowledgement of that principled stance, particularly as it related to his own tenure as governor of Borno State, was a refreshing demonstration of candor until a follow-up statement from his office attempted rather clumsily to distance his remarks from the current situations in Rivers State. Senator Usman further said, "It is disingenuous for the Vice President's handlers to pretend not to know that Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which governs the declaration of a state of emergency, has not changed since 2013. That section confers no power whatsoever on the President to remove a sitting governor under the guise, including the declaration of emergency rule. Accordingly," she said, "we commend Vice President Shettima for his rare moment of honesty in drawing attention to what was clearly an unconstitutional act, the illegal removal of Governor Siminaye Fubara earlier in March under the pretext of political chaos and breakdown of law and order by President Bola Tinubu. However, she stressed what is deeply troubling is the speed and intensity with which the Vice President has been compelled to walk back his words. The question must be asked, who is intimidating the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? If someone of Shettima's level, armed with immunity from prosecution and other ancillary protections of his office, cannot freely express a factual opinion without being coerced into a retraction, then it is a damning reflection of the human rights climate under the current administration. Indeed, it is no surprise that Nigeria continues to plunge to the bottom of human rights ranking across Africa. We reiterated our appreciation to Vice President Shettima for speaking truth to power, even if only momentarily. But we strongly urge those pulling strings behind the scenes to cease from undermining the dignity of the office of the Vice President. It is not only disrespectful to the man, but also to the institution he represents and to the Constitution he swore to uphold, the LP National Caretaker Committee chairman stated. Those were the submission of Nenadi Usman, the caretaker chairman of Labour Party, as regards the statement made by the Vice President Kashim Shettima during a book launch by former Attorney General and the Minister of Justice SAN Aduke, and when he mentioned something concerning the launch of a book, OPL 245. And at that event, the Vice President Shettima had to make mention of the fact that during the tenure of Goodluck Jonathan as president, he was a governor, and then Boko Haram was raising his ugly head there, and the president had to declare a state of emergency in Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno at that time. And the president was thinking of the possibility of removing the governor and then put an administrator because of the situation that was on ground in Borno State then. The activity of the Boko Haram was, so serious. Now, those are their gestational period, and they became battered and became troublesome even to the state and also affecting Nigeria as a whole. Now, Shettima had to speak that it was Aduke and the former speaker Tambuwa that stood for him then to tell the president to his face and call his bluff that he cannot remove a democratically elected official, and which stood. He was able to survive even the blow then when a state of emergency was declared. He wasn't removed from his office. So the expectation is that the issue is also calling attention of President Bola Tinubu to the fact that declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State might probably not be the issue, but the suspension of democratic institutions, the political arena, that is what is shocking and is calling for question that it is not wrong according to Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. It's not wrong for the president to declare a state of emergency, but then it must be based on what the Constitution says and also based on what the law interprets it to be. And basically, of course, if Fubara is supposed to still be in office while a state of emergency can be declared in a state, but then it will be impossible for the president to bring in an administrator so that can douse the tension that is within the polity in that particular state. So Nadi Usman is now trying to tell the presidency not to coerce the vice president because he has decided to speak truth to power. He spoke his mind as regards the situation when he was the governor, that he had to survive that suspension that the likes of Fubara couldn't, survive today. But be it as it may, we are still keeping our fingers crossed to see what is going to be the outcome of the matter. Probably Fubara will be restored to office, and then every other thing will begin to fall into place. Those who are in the House of Assembly too will resume their legislative duty. And we believe that with that, Nigeria can move forward. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.